If you're at a place in your life where you feel like everything's fallen apart, you don't recognize yourself anymore, like your identity has disappeared, you're functioning in everyday life, but something inside you has died, then I invite you to stay here with me for a while. I know this place, unfortunately, really well. And what I want to say to you is that although it might feel like everything is collapsing, like the world is shifting beneath your feet, that everything feels unstable, sometimes everything you thought was a lie. All of the structures and routines and things that once made you who you thought you were can no longer hold you. That place can be really scary, really disorientating. But what if that place is a place of initiation? What if that experience is a doorway to something deeper, much deeper, and it's a call that you are being asked to answer, sometimes demanded to answer, sometimes stopped and literally moved into a new place where you have no choice but to answer. And how that feels in the body at the time, I mean, there can be so many different reasons or pathways that we get to this point. And often the body will have been trying to communicate with us for a very long time. And you've heard the analogy that it starts with a whisper and then a nudge, and then sometimes has to take you completely off your feet to enforce a stop, a pause. And we resist the pause, of course we do, because we are conditioned to be valued and measured by our productivity, and as women by our ability to hold and to care and to tend to everybody else in our families, in our circles, in our communities, in our workplaces, before ourselves. And even that it is selfish to look after ourselves or to prioritize our own needs. And so what happens is those needs and those desires and those dreams of who we are at our core get suppressed, get hidden, get pushed down. And that creates dis-ease. There is no flow for the spirit, for the soul. There's no real, true means of connection to whatever joy, whatever childlike joy you innately need and deserve and should, by all of your rights, be experiencing without explanation. And so if you find yourself in this place, I want you to embrace yourself, or begin to entertain the possibility of embracing yourself. It's easy to embrace another, isn't it? Especially if we see them in need. To comfort, to reassure, to speak gently, to give them your attention and your presence and your care. And after collapse, this is the invitation to embrace yourself and to stay for a moment in the rubble, in the wreckage, without rushing to fix or to mend or to analyse or to explain or to understand. I know in my previous experiences of being in this place, the only time I was really able to understand what was being asked of me was when I listened to my inner voice. And to listen to our inner voice, we need to really get to a point where we've allowed that communication to be two-way. Because just as we ignore the body, we ignore the whispers, our intuition, the signs, the symbols, the real signs and symbols. Sometimes we can get preoccupied and over-identified with looking for the sign for us to take action or to do something. But the body and how the body communicates and how we suppress or confuse those signals. Embrace asks for a real willingness to relearn the language of our own body and the unique way it communicates with us. And the same with the voice of our higher self, our soul, whatever you want to call it. It will maybe not appear or be received in the way that you expect or want or are comfortable with. And even if we often do hear it, there's such a tendency to dismiss it, to override it, to pretend that it bears no significance. That can't be right. It was too subtle, or it was saying something I don't agree with, or I don't have an ability to truly listen or connect. And so it comes with a real willingness, an element of having self-trust. To be open at first, to receive that guidance from the body, from ourselves, not from outside of ourselves, and then to actually go into a relationship where we listen enough to take on board and then take action. It's a process. There's many steps to this. It's not something that comes and is instant. This can take a long time to get to this point, hence why there were many collapses of mine before I truly heard the voice and listened and took action. And so there is no rush in this process. And if we've got to the point of collapse, like I said at the start, something in your old life, the way you have built it, is no longer aligned or benefiting or assisting you to evolve and grow in the way that you came here to do. And so it had to collapse. Sometimes collapse is necessary. There is no other option for you to be able to change course so dramatically. And the logical mind, even if on some level you had the awareness that change was required. You can argue with that until you're blue in the face. And logically, because it feels so hard and heavy and difficult and impossible at times, then you choose not to go there, not to entertain that fact. There's a huge buzzy bee coming close to me. It's really beautiful. And you choose instead to seek advice and counsel and wisdom outside of yourself. I used to talk to so many people about my pain, about my frustration, about my entrapment, about my inability to move, about the injustice of my situation, about the despair of where I found myself. And I would go around and around in circles, hoping that these people, well-meaning, much-loved friends, confidants, coaches, teachers, could somehow unlock something within me that would allow me to free myself. And so collapse actually gave me a key. It gave me a key to my own inner wisdom, intuition, insight, power. It gave me my own unique roadmap. And we can outsource our power in so many ways. But when you come back home to yourself, when you truly listen, when you sit with yourself and tend to yourself and embrace yourself as you would your dearest beloved, that's when the key can slowly start to unlock the path, the process that will move you forward in the exact right time and way for you. So the invitation is to stay, not to rush to fix, not to analyze, not to discuss and dissect, but to really stay with yourself, to hold yourself. And in Kundalini Yoga, we use the mantra Sat Nam. Sat, truth. Nam is the essence, the vibration. And I always found that using this mantra, reciting this mantra, even listening to this mantra, is this call, this beckoning to come home, to come back, to show me what is true, to reveal to me what is true for me. And in doing that, all that is not true, all that is not meant for you must fall away. This process is not gentle. It's disruptive. It's frightening. It's destabilizing on every level. And so our role is to stay to come home, to embrace. And I'm going to just leave you with a short practice, left nostril breathing. So the left side of the body is the feminine. It's attuned to the lunar energy, this nourishing, receptive, intuitive energy. And it's so simple to do. You just literally block the right nostril. You can use a thumb or a finger. And you inhale and exhale through the left. This cooling, soothing, feminine energy. And if you find yourself post-collapse or in collapse, panicking, worrying, distressed, in your head, anxious, this is a good one to calm you down. And it's so simple, but we always forget to return to the breath. But when we return to the breath, we come out of the head, we come into the body, and we soothe our own nervous system. After a few minutes of breath, you have literally said to your system that it's safe to come out of fight or flight. So, closing the right nostril. And sometimes you can hold the fingers up a little bit like an antennae. If you want to do it more subtly, you can just close the right. So just sit with me for a moment and breathe. Take a long, deep inhale through the left nostril. And exhale. And as you breathe, just start to bring your awareness to the body. And the breath can be so subtle. Most of the time we don't even notice that we are breathing, almost as if we are being breathed. But as you breathe, just start to notice the interplay between the breath and the body. The shoulders moving, the chest expanding. The way the rib cage flares on the inhale. And allow it to contract on the exhale. See if you can bring the breath fully down into the belly. And let the belly blow up like a balloon as you breathe in. Exhale, just softening. And release on the exhale. Just let go of the tension, of whatever you are holding that feels too heavy to hold alone. Inhale that support, that clarity, that insight you need. Exhale any fear, anxiety. Just let the breath really soothe you. And if the thoughts still persist, just see them moving across the mind like clouds in the sky. Bringing your awareness back to the body all the time. It's a training, it's a practice. It's not something we naturally are able to do. But as you breathe here, just know that you are safe. You are supported. You are not alone. You are loved. And you will find a way through. And take a long, deep inhale. Just hold that breath for a moment. Really smooth out the forehead from the inside. Release the jaw. And exhale. And thank you so much for stopping by. I'm going to be talking a lot more about the collapse, about what brings us to this point, and also about what is possible on the other side. Sending much love.